All right, and we're back for another episode of American Horror Stories. This one is called Facelift. I'm already getting a Death Becomes Her tea, so let's see. Is this Jane Fonda? Dang, we had to see bunions this early in the episode. I mean, them toes said, stop! Hammer time! Oh, hammer time! Hammer toe! No, it's not Jane Fonda, but they did make her look old. I mean, look at that ratty wig. They must have gotten that from Tyler Perry. So she goes out of her bedroom after her morning beauty rituals and says hey to her 30-year-old daughter. So her daughter tell her, you obsessed with growing old, and she tells her daughter, well, you married a broke fool and now you back in school. And she says, I didn't marry Tim for his money. Problem one. It is much easier to love a rich man than a poor one. It's just easier. I've done both. I'm a stick with rich. You can call me shallow, but make sure you call me at the Ritz-Carlton. But her daughter's studying to be a lawyer, and she's like, you know what, you're going to pass your baby by. But her daughter says, well, I'm going to be a lawyer because I'm doing something for myself for once. You can do stuff for yourself and still have a rich husband. Those things are not mutually exclusive. And the truth is, your rich husband should bankroll the stuff that you're doing for yourself. If your husband ain't putting you through school, he ain't worth a damn. He ain't worth a plug nickel. But the mama go in the kitchen and she starts peeping at the hot age-appropriate neighbor. Oh, her daughter says, you know he's getting divorced. And I'll be honest, he's giving me hot daddy vibes. So her daughters say, well, go over and say hello. And her mom's like, you've got to meet someone in the course of the day. You don't just walk over like you're thirsty looking for a drink. You've got to ease into it. And her daughter said, well, you know he's down at the wine shop every Friday afternoon to get his weekend bottles. So you might want to bump into him there. Okay, I'm liking this mother-daughter vibe. It's good to see families get along for one. You know, it's American Horror Story. It's like, okay, what kind of trauma are we going to go through this time? So she gets all dolled up to go to the wine store. And child, he walks in right on cue and he says, Virginie, what a surprise. That's how women get you. They 6 steps ahead. Oh no, he already got a new floozy. And she looks like she could be his daughter. Oh no, this heifer is her age. They were in the same college dorm, but she looks 30 years younger. Yeah, I'd be shocked shitless too. She said, oh, you should drop by next week. Oh wait, we're gonna be in Tahoe. Yep, that is a very California thing to say. I'm surprised I'm not in Tahoe this weekend. So he walk off and she asked this heifer, girl, what's your secret? Like, I can't even front. Like, what is going on here? Because time didn't stop 30 years ago for you. She said, oh, diet and exercise. She said, cut the crap. This does not happen with diet and exercise. Heifer, I'm drinking beet juice and asparagus every morning. Ha! She said, all right, I'm going to tell you, but stay away from my man. She said, I don't know what you mean. This was an innocent run-in. Why don't you cut the crap, Jenny? Game recognized game. So she gives her this card and says, call and make an appointment. Dang, girl. And girl, that is the truth, because you can't give a man an option. It's like sometimes when I'm with somebody I'm dating, I'm like, get on. You ain't got to be smart. Get on. So she calls and makes an appointment with the quickness. And in the doctor's office, she tells her, I feel hideous. You ain't hideous. You just ain't got no confidence. So the doctor is giving us Isabel Rossellini teas from Death Becomes Her. I told you I was getting Death Becomes Her teas from this episode. I saw a little clip on TikTok. Ooh, the surgeon says, I don't think I can help you, heifer. So the doctor tell her, look, honey, if you think you hideous, ain't nothing I can do to change that. You got to work on your thinking. And then the heifer break down and she's like, look, I'm just having a bad week. I just don't want to look old no more. She said, I ran the housekeeper off. I ain't got no friends. Damn. Well, that's your personality. That ain't your looks. And I know a whole bunch of ugly people with husbands, so that ain't it either. It's you. So she tells her life story. She moved out to Beverly Hills from Wichita for school, married old Beverly Hills money, but never really got to be her true, authentic self. And now she's afraid it's too late. So the doctor says, look, I'm not a plastic surgeon. That's a term people use to get a license. However, time sprays graffiti all over God's good work. So we gonna clean that graffiti off. We're gonna power wash. So the doctors say, okay, come on, we're going to give you the treatment. We go in the room and this light moves around her face. And then she hand the heifer, this is how much it's going to be. And she's like, ooh, I might want to stay looking old for these prices. And you got a rich dead husband, you can swing it. So she called her financial manager and he's like, child, you can't afford it. She's like, I have a Bentley and a mansion in Beverly Hills. Sell the Bentley, I can drive a Mercedes. He's like, child, you deep in debt. She's like, well, I'll just get another business manager. He said, look, any other business manager would have made you sell everything and move out to the burbs. Oh, Lord, but now she home alone doing her little beauty ritual at night and she hears the hot neighbor and his husband. Ooh, are they out having a hot tub romp? That heifer peeping out the window and the heifer looking back at her through the other one. She like, you better stay away from my man. Child, she at the surgeon the next day, cash in hand. She said, I'm going to have to do them hands too while we at it. Because, we can't have a youthful face, but a gnarled claw. Like Vicki Gunvalson. She said, don't worry about it. I'm going to do the hands gratis. You already paid for the face, so, you get the hands for free. I like people to leave my office with a complete youthful rejuvenate. I can't have you walk around giving me a bad name. So she go in the surgery room and she see everybody got the same tattoo on them. She's like, I've heard of company loyalty, but we getting tattoos? Now we hear the chanting. What they chanting? Her boyfriend not cheating, her boyfriend not cheating. It sounds like her boyfriend not cheating. So the next day her daughter come home and it's a dark and stormy night, which is odd because it does not rain in Northern California or Southern California. Tony wasn't lying. I'm hearing this dark thunderstorm, and I'm like, that ain't in Beverly Hills. This state is dry as hell. The most moisture San Francisco gets is from the fog. It hasn't, rained in months. I see why the state is on fire. On the East Coast, it rains. It does not rain out here, so this is kind of taking me out of it. So she see her mama all bandaged up, her hands, her face. I guess she's springing this surgery on her daughter. So she's asking her daughter to get her some water and her pain pills. So her daughter's like, I heard you blew through my inheritance. The business manager called me. I didn't know you was broke as hell. See, this is why you've got to make sure your man is life insurance to the hilt. Child, these coots is counting you and going to the grave. I'ma just make my own money. Who needs a husband when you can get a second career? Maybe I will move to Europe. It's more affordable there. Child, she said we could lose the house and I wouldn't be able to pay tuition. Mama said, well, girl, you could take a student loan like everybody else. Woo. Long as I look young. Oh. She said, okay, Mom, it's very nice of you to think of your daughter. And she said, you're my stepdaughter. Ooh. I guess they ain't as close as I thought. See, I knew family trauma was coming. I was hoping we could skip that. But oh no, not with Rai Murphy. So Faye's like, you know what, I'm out. And good luck getting them pain pills out that childproof bottle with your bandaged up hands. Good luck, Effa. Now I see why you ran the housekeeper off. So she wake up and get at them pills finally, and she starts munching on them. But then she hears the chanting, your boyfriend ain't cheating. Lord, she's seeing demons coming at her. She crawling across the floor. Oh, but then she sees her daughter came back to help her. Her stepdaughter. So the next morning, her daughter's like, look, you stay in bed. I'm going to take care of you. And she said, what made you come back? She said, well, look, when I was in high school, I acted an ass. So you know what? I got one, you got one. So she go to see the doctor for a checkup. And she's like, your recovery's a little slow, but you still on track. However, your daughter putting ideas in your mind, and that ain't helping your recovery. She said, look, I know your daughter helping you, but why don't I send you to this med spa and make a little more money off you? She said, you know what, I'll give you the weekend for free, and I gotta cut your bandages off anyway, so come on up. We can meet some colleagues, some former patients, and have the unveiling of your new face. I think I'm gonna just keep this face. It served me well. I like it. I will say I like my face. So she go home and pack all her stuff up, and her daughter's like, I don't trust this heifer. I want to know where you going, and I done look this heifer up. She don't have no medical license. Sounds very Atlanta to me. Ooh, this heifer has 3 malpractice suits from Oregon to Washington, but they all disappeared before she moved to Beverly Hills. So she get there and she the only one with bandages. I think they're gonna sacrifice the heifer. So the heifer pull her in a private room and says, I think your bandages are ready to come off, but let's do an unveiling. I knew there was gonna be an unveiling. And she's like, we wanna do this in front of other people? Can I see my new face in private? Oh Lord, the daughter done followed her up there, but she getting chloroformed by one of the guards. So now it's the evening and the unveiling. So everybody clapping for the doctor. She give a little speech and then she bring Jenny up. She's like, let's take the bandages off. Lord, but before we take the bandages off, they bring out the daughter. She's like, what is she doing here? I don't know how she got here. She's like, the daughter said, I hid in the back of the SUV. You see, this is what happens when you go to places you ain't invited. Oh, child, she said, I ain't a real mama. I'm a stepmama. Now, hold on, don't be calling me mama. I ain't your mama. She like, I got some new friends, heifer. Leave me alone. And this is why I don't trust a man with kids. Them little usurpers always be throwing a wrench in your plan. But now we gonna take the bandages off. Let's see this heifer face. Oh, Lord, she look like hell. But now they chanting in the name of the Shining One. Take your place among us as a sacrifice. I knew they was going to sacrifice that heifer. They tell her, heifer, you got to run 2 miles. If you can make it to the ocean, you go free. But if not, we going to cut you up. And we done turned you into a pig because that's... Why they got to bring Babe into it? And what's up with Ryan Murphy and his obsession with pigs? So I guess this is a tie back to that piggy thing from Murder House. Was it Murder House? It was one of them seasons. So now this heifer running through the woods. Girl, why you on the path with the lit torches? So they say, look, sacrificing you is how we stay young and beautiful. And now they running after the heifer. You better use that snout and sniff your way out. So it's a mix of Death Becomes Her and that Twilight Zone episode when everybody was ugly and being beautiful was weird. Lord, they shooting this heifer with arrows. You ain't gonna make it. Lord, she run into her neighbor and she think he gonna help her. He got a spear too. She almost made it to the beach. So they catch her and stab the heifer. And now they bring the stepdaughter to see the dead mama. Step-parent. She said, what did you do to my mother? The doctor said you hurt her face. She ain't your mama. Your real mama was one of us. Lord. So they done turned the stepdaughter and she gets their little tattoo. We see her back at school. And she finds another guy with the tattoo and so they gonna go walk her over to law school admissions. Well, at least with your mama dead, hopefully you got some life insurance to pay off that surgery. Well, it wasn't as it was pretty predictable. I knew they was going to sacrifice the heifer. I didn't know the daughter was going to turn and be one of them. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't that good. I guess I enjoyed it. But let's get to Bill Collector.